All right, here he is.
Well, tell us who a modern leader should be.
I believe it's someone that truly should put people first. And again, all people, and I'll speak to our culture, and really to me defines a modern leader. For us, we have a culture of welcome. You know, right now, the hotness is DEI initiatives. Right, what are your DEI initiatives? First of all, diversity is not an initiative. Software implementation is an initiative. There's no finish line with diversity. Just because you hired a chief diversity officer, 13 minorities, and started using pronouns in your email address, you didn't win. So stop celebrating. A modern leader welcomes all. Does not matter who you voted for. Does not matter how you identify. Does not matter if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God. Will you perform in the role, drive results, uphold the company values? Great. Welcome. And why I'm very specific on a culture of welcome. When I was a kid in the 70s, being mixed race, I was always trying to fit in, be accepted, belong. And those are words that you're hearing come back now of belonging. Belonging implies someone doesn't. So I don't want a culture of belonging. And that's very key. You know, words matter. I tell people all the time, we're like, well, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. I'm like, when you get called Oreo cookie, zebra, half-breed, chocolate vanilla sweat, words matter. And so I'm intentional with those words.
When I feel, for a modern boss, welcomed, listened to, then it's a conversation about what I'm doing on a given day or a given year. Then I feel empowered and motivated, valued. So that's what a modern leader
is. What a modern leader, and as a modern leader, be visible. So in our company, I sit in the middle of the floor. You can come sit with me any time of the day. Tell me what you did for the weekend. You know, it starts really in school. I was on a podcast about education, and they said, okay, you're a principal. What's the first thing you do? I said, okay, if I'm the principal, the first thing I do is I put my desk in the middle of the school, out in the open. They go, why? Because my role is to serve and support the students and teachers. I can't do that behind a closed door. And let's stop making the principal's office this place of, don't go there. If I need to have a teacher conference, a parent conference, okay, I got a conference room that I can go to. If I need to talk to a student one-on-one, I can go over there. But I need to be visible for the students. And I see the same thing holding true in business. Don't sit in the ivory tower.
This imperial sort of thing. I'm the king, right? You visit the king. No.
So many people, you see this even, your first time leader into, you get a manager role, a VP role. I don't know what happens with individuals that they get this leadership title and they turn into dictators.
Right.
Your role is to serve and support. And so modern leadership, here's another great example. We don't have direct reports. If you're in leadership, your role is to serve and support. So you are a direct support. So if I'm speaking to someone, I'll say, hey, who's your direct support? Not your direct report. And it's just that language changes it. Think of this, Touré. We still say recruit and retain. Mm-hmm. Think about that. We want to recruit and retain the best people. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't want to retain anybody. Go look up the definition of retain. To keep possession of. Mm-hmm. No, we want to attract and provide. I want to attract great people, and I want to provide meaningful work, great pay, and an incredible culture to be a part of.
Now, one of the things that in the modern work world that we're getting to is a shift of mindset for millennials and increasingly Zoomers, right? My son came to me talking about quiet quitting the other day, right? And there's just a notion, like we grew up, I think, in this notion of like, you work all the time, work is the center of your life. If the boss asks you to do something a little extra, pick up on for somebody else, you just do it, right? I'm here to serve the company and to do the best that I can, right? And maybe I'll stay late, this day, next day, whatever. we're getting more into like people have boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't contact me after 5, 6 p.m. Don't ask me a question on Saturday and Sunday. I've had colleagues who've been like, you cannot ask me even a single question on a Saturday. It disturbs my peace. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm sitting here at 10 o'clock on Saturday, like trying to work something out. And you're like, do not speak to me. And that's just setting boundaries, right? The quiet quitting seems to be a little bit further of like, I have very tightly conscripted boundaries. I will not go outside of that. And I'm not necessarily saying they're wrong, but it's different than the philosophy so how does the modern leadership deal with the folks who are like, I'm going to give you 9 to 5:00 and not a minute later and nothing beyond what you specifically told me that you want me to do?
I'm not a big fan of the word quote unquote balance. When people say work-life balance, there's just life, period. And I'm going to answer your question, but follow me here. You have a lot of people with our company. People know you can get exited by me from the company if you ever say, thank God it's Friday. Because if you're trading 2 for 5, you're in the wrong place. You're not doing right by yourself, and you're not doing right by us as a company. So let me find that place that's going to bring you happiness. I'm completely fine if your thing is, let me come in, blow it up from 9 to 5, and then I'm out. More importantly, why I feel we won as a company when the virus hit is we were already structured on a come and go basis. If your work is being completed and you're knocking out your task, you're performing your role, you're driving results. I don't give a damn if your child has a school play from 2 to 4 on a Tuesday, and do you. If you are driving results, performing your role, upholding the values, that's the goal.
You can come and go.
You can come and go as you want. And more importantly, if you create a phenomenal company culture, you don't have to force people to come in. They will come in on their own.
Wait, are you comfortable with people working remote?
Totally.
No problem with that.
No problem.
Because some leaders are saying we want you in the office, which I feel like I don't trust why you're saying that. I don't think you really think it's best for the employees to be in the office. I think you think I'm paying for this space. This way I can know that you're working, these sort of things. Like, especially in a creative, right? You're in media in a creative space, like being at home when it's quiet and not commuting, this is much better for me to be productive.
2 things on that. The other part that we don't talk about as society, because I do believe there are give and takes. I can eliminate the commute. That's a beautiful thing. For some people, that's 2 hours. That's 2 great hours you just got back. Beautiful. Let me acknowledge that. The other part that people don't want to acknowledge is the other side. If you're in your office over there and I walk by and I see you in there, I'm like, hey, I got a question for you. I get to sit down and talk to you. People don't want to acknowledge there is a lot of productivity in that.
But there's a lot of interruption in that too. I was working, Sally came by to be like, hey, how you doing? Now I'm having a social conversation with her for 20 minutes. Love Sally to death, but I was getting shit done.
But like you said, how we started, there's give and take. There's a commute over here. I get that instant, I get to interact with you. So let's hit it back over here now. Now I'm interrupted. It's no one's talking about both of the sides that come with it. It's just work from home, work remote. And we have to acknowledge there are deep inefficiencies that come with that. Yeah. I don't care what technology stack you have, Slack, communication, whatever. If I want to get a hold of you and I hit you up on Slack, hey, you available at 11? You don't reply because at the time you happen to be in a meeting. So then you hit me back later on and you're like, yeah, I'm available, but now I'm in a meeting. And I didn't see that. So now we're playing the back and forth game. And now we're using Calendly and we're trying to say, there's a lot of inefficiencies that also come with work from home. And keep in mind, like you said, we're creatives. A lot of our folks are writers. They do better work, as I call, in the hole, quiet, beautiful. Again, I go back to it. Create a culture of freedom. You want to come into the office? Great. We're here to see you. You want to work from home? Great. But let's all acknowledge there are give and takes in this whole new system that we're going down.
So we started to talk about the quiet quitting. How are you managing that person? He or she is ticking off the boxes, as you say, but when you're like, hey, I need a little extra from you because we got a big project and a deadline. Sorry, I don't work after 5. Like, can you help us out? Like, so-and-so is sick or got fired or whatever. And like, sorry, that's not on my pay grade. That's not in my responsibilities. Yeah. So how do you deal with that?
So I'll be fair to that individual. I don't necessarily see that as a quiet quitting. That's somebody putting up some very hard boundaries. You and I don't come from those boundaries. You know, someone comes to me and like, hey, can you yeah, I'll knock it out.
You okay with the boundaries and the employee saying no to you?
Here's the piece. This is the parts that people don't want to talk about both sides. So I'm okay with the boundaries, but that boundary person also has to be okay with, well, okay, Sally said no. She's got boundaries. Susie said yes. Who is most likely going to start being promoted, move up? Susie, because, hey, Susie, now people say, oh, well, you're basically saying because Susie does more, she's going to get the promotion. No, I'm saying because Susie took initiative, Susie's getting the promotion.
I mean, this is the thing that I look at, like, on the short term, setting boundaries, I understand it, yep. I respect it. But in the long term, who's the company going to look to for promotion?
Exactly.
The one who's giving herself to the company and saying, I'll pick up extra here, there, here, there. Well, yeah, eventually she's going to move up and you're going to be working for her.
Right.
And I'm like, is this the law? If you're at a company that you believe in, right? If you're working at, let's say, Trader Joe's, and it's just an entry-level job for you. I don't care about stockings. Then great, set your boundaries and go pursue your dreams. But if you're at a place that you believe in, I believe in the leader, I believe in the mission of the company, I think, I want to be here for a minute. I think you should give yourself to the company.
I'm with you, but again, I'm going to respect if that's you. But you have to also respect the other side of the equation. And again, I keep saying it. This is where we are in society. Come on, Touré, we were just talking about this. We do this with everything. We talk about diversity, we want to talk about one side. We talk about politics, we want to talk about one side. We talk about this quiet quitting, we want to talk about one side. You got to have the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what so many of us in this country right now, we don't want to have the whole conversation about anything. We just want to talk about the pieces that benefit us.